I'm live. Okay. So I'm going live on here on YouTube to do this Q&A. And on YouTube, I asked questions. So like actually had you guys fill out questions on like what you wanted to know. So I am just gonna get those pulled up, on this phone, and then I also am gonna go live on Instagram at the same time. I've never done that before. No time like the present. So that's what I'm like looking off to on the side over here. Is that it? Then you just press live? Is it that simple? Because I love to try to overcomplicate something. Okay. Let's see if my internet connection will allow me to. Okay, perfect. So we are live. Okay, so we're live on YouTube and we're live on Instagram. And we are going to, I have in my notes, not my notes, but my screenshots, all the questions that were asked. If I can get to them. Here we go. We got probably got about like 30 questions that y'all asked. So I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm just going to go in order of the screenshots. Let's see if I'm okay. Yes, we're just going to do that. Oh, actually, you know what? I think I might need to put a title on here on oh, that's dope. Okay, let's just try that one. I think that's how I can do it. I'm procrastinating right now, so I'm gonna just start. So the first one, actually, sorry. I'm so sorry. This is probably all over the place. I'm gonna try to start from the bottom. So the first question I have is, how old is Chip? Which I thought was a cute question. Chip will be 15, actually next month in March. Chip will be 15 next month. He is here sleeping, but Chip will be 15 in March. So that was a nice, easy one to start off with. And then I guess we can go with these age questions. The next one is, how old am I? Which, I thought they say like a lady never tells her age, or it's supposed to be like discretional. But I am 35 years young. Um, I'm gonna try to, some of these are gonna be like more in depth. This next question is like, will I do a house tour? I actually got this one a couple of times. Um, the interesting thing about the house tour situation is that I have done a house tour in the past, and I think I showed too much. Like there's like a safety parameter that comes with doing house tours. Like if you do a house tour, like you really put all your business out there. Like if you do it to the point where you show every nook and cranny of your home, it can actually be quite easy and quite obvious for like people to find you. And like from a safety perspective, like that's just not um the best choice to have living permanently on the internet. So I took it down. So I did a house tour like when we first purchased our home, and I took that down. But I am going to like kind of do it again. So like use that same footage and probably do like a montage of like empty home tour, like then versus now, since we finally got the house painted, to do like an update so that way you can see like before and afters. But do it in a safer way and not show like every single room. And now that my editing has gotten better, better, I mean, you can go nowhere but up. But since my editing has gotten better, I'll be able to do the house tour and, like, blur out certain things so that way, like, I can, like, feel safe and not, um or at least somewhat safe and not, um, like, just completely put me and my family in jeopardy. So, that is for the house tour. I really like doing this on Instagram, um, that way I can, like, really check off all the questions. Okay, so this next question is where do I live? And I think that question has come because like I've been putting like a lot of snow pictures up lately. Well, actually it's snowing in California right now, so there's that. But so general, again for safety reasons, I live in the Metro Detroit area. So that's why you'll see like all the seasons and why gardening is at a lull right now because there's nothing for me to do outside, but prep work will start soon, and I'm so glad that I didn't start prepping, probably, like, 2 weeks ago, like, all the big garden channels, like, started clearing out their beds and, like, deadheading, like, different, perennials and stuff like that, and we just got hit with a crazy amount of ice and a even more crazy amount of snow, so I'm really happy I did not like jump the gun when it came to gardening. Mm, okay, so this next question is how long have I been married? I'm not married, I am engaged, and I guess that question because you gotta see my ring, but I don't have like a second band. I don't know if you can, I don't really show my ring like specific details or anything, so I guess you wouldn't know unless you asked, which is the reason for this. But I'm not married, I'm engaged. So we'll leave that there. Oh, this is a fun question. What's my favorite TV show? Um, okay, Bridgerton, love it. What is it? Season 4 or 5 or something like that? Comes out in May. Love Bridgerton. I also love The Queen. Love that show. Both uh like anything that's like a historical piece with theatrics and costumes and Victorian, um, just like over the top avant-garde, count me in. Like I'm done, I'm sold. I love everything about it. It's from a like a trash TV or like a reality TV perspective. I really like The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They are hilarious. You just gotta, how do I say this? You kinda gotta take them with a grain of salt. Like, as a Black woman, it's very hard to watch them berate, Garcelle the way that they do. Like, I absolutely hate how they treat her on that show, it's disgusting. I actually preferred it, and this might sound crazy, but I actually preferred it when it was an all-white cast because then they could just tear each other to pieces there. Nobody had to pretend like they were socially aware of anything. We got to just look at their houses, and that was the end of it. But now they are incorporating more diversity, and that group of women, mm, they just aren't exposed to, like, that level of, like, interaction with people who aren't exactly like them in all aspects of the word exactly like, and so they true colors be showing, and the way they treat Garcelle is just disgusting to me, but that is one of the franchises that I like. Potomac had run dry on that one, but this season, whew, they really kicked it up a notch, and I think it's just because, like, just the drama that they had on and off, like, Robin Dixon, if you guys watch the show, Robin Dixon, the things that she did, like, I don't know how you think you can be on a reality TV show and not share your life and then try to hide behind a paywall for your Patreon group and share, like, the inside workings of your marriage there, but not show it on national TV, and there's gonna be, like, nobody's gonna catch it. Like, I don't know, people aren't dumb. So, really, The Real Housewives, Potomac, Beverly Hills are my top faves, and then, like, other trash will dwindle in every now and again. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, that's a nice question and a compliment. How do you make time for the beautiful garden that you have? So I quit my job, so I have all the time that I want now. But prior to when I was working, how I had made time for the garden was my spouse helps a lot. Like when I say a lot, I mean a lot. Like he really do all the heavy lifting and like the dirty work. Like pulling out old hedges is what he really focused on last year. Um, what else does he do? He really do it all. Like we created this thing in our backyard that we call a bean because it looks like the bean in Chicago. And it was just like a bunch of grass out there before. And now it is completely like it's actual flower bed. And so he pulled all that grass up. I mean, I help with the things I can help with. So like we had to put down tarp and so once he got all the grass up, like I helped put down the tarp, and then he had to come and put down like 5 yards of dirt. So then he had to bring all that dirt from the curb to the backyard. And so I'm standing there recording while he's doing those things. Um, and so then I get to come around and like do all the deadheading and things like there's like I pick out what flowers we have. Like we might have like a discussion together, like he comes with me. Um, he pays for a majority of the flowers. Like he do the heavy stuff, and I get to do all the cute stuff at the end. So it makes it the team effort actually makes it a lot easier to go forward in the garden. And this year, since I am able to be to like focus on my blog and social media, you'll see like a ton more gardening stuff. Like we're taking the garden to a whole nother level this year than what we have in the past. Mm, this next question is, do we have kids? We do not have any kids. Um, yeah, we don't have kids. And I guess a valid question, I guess, like, I'm not 100% sure, like, how I feel about personally putting my kids online. Like, right now, today, I would say I don't think I would do that. Um, but my mind could change in the future. So at this current moment, we do not have kids, though, is the answer to that question. We do have Chip. Chip is my baby, so we can count him as one if you would like. That's the same okay, that's the same house tour question, so but I wanna make sure I'm kinda going in order. Okay, so this next question is, how do you stay motivated when there's so many just like YouTubers specifically, it says YouTubers out there. So there's a ton of YouTubers and people on social media, and I mean, it's very difficult. I have, I guess you would call, like, small, um I don't know. I feel like saying following is kinda crazy, but a small group internet friends, that's how I always, refer to you guys when I'm talking to my fiancé. So, I have a small group of internet friends currently, and I think it's just for me how would I explain that? I don't know, like, I've actually been doing YouTube for, like, almost 2 years, which is kinda crazy to think. Um and like this Instagram channel that you guys are on. But for me, it's just like I would be taking pictures of this stuff anyway. Like I would be wanting to post this stuff anyway. But now in the back of my mind, I do have this additional pressure of when I'm doing things or when I'm creating a reel or a TikTok or whatever, or Instagram video, there is like this little bit of pressure in the back of my head, like, dang, like I do hope people like it. And I hope it, like for all the hours of editing and all the hours of recording that you go through, you do hope that it gets the traction that you're looking for. You're not putting it on online just for nobody to ever see it. But at the same time, it's something that I really like to do. Like I've always loved photography, and videography, and that started when I was in high school. So, I mean, I just keep doing it. And hopefully the people who like the things that I post, like home, organization, gardening. I recently got into golfing with my fiance, so you guys will be seeing a lot more of me doing that and like practicing. When I say I recently got into golfing, like I am a beginner, like a very, very, very beginner. So when I do post that stuff, I just ask you guys to be gentle. But most of the people who are like interacting or following me online or my internet friends, you guys are very nice. So that's how. Ba, ba, ba. Oh, so this actually lines up perfect. Why did I start YouTube? Um, One of the reasons I just had like all this stuff in my phone. Like I just had like tons and tons and tons and tons of images in my phone, and I've always found it like really cool. Like I consume a lot of like YouTube and Instagram and things of that nature. And I was like, you know what? One day I felt like I could do that. Like I think I could edit that. I think I could do things in that way. And I do believe that also have things to share. Like tips and tricks when it comes to like home organization, things of that nature that my friends genuinely ask me about. So, like, why not share with everybody? And really allows me to be able to combine those things that I already like. Whew, that's a lot of talking. Okay. Okay, okay, this is a good question. What template did you use to create your website? Um, I think that question is, well, one, thank you for visiting my website because it's brand new and it's like that's my current um how would you say, like baby of sorts. So one thing I would say about my website is it's not a it's not like a template in the sense of the word where you could go on like Etsy or Fiverr and download a pre how do you say that? Like a pre-packaged template and then put your photos in, upload your information, and then it's gonna look exactly like the one that I have, which is why it's taken me so very long, and I'm not a website developer in any sense of the word. Um, but it's a what do they call it? It's called Beaver Builder, which is inside of WordPress. So WordPress, then I have to go in and like actually create like different frames and different pieces of body work and things of that nature in order for you to see what you see. One of the things that I'm working on right now on my website is that how do I say, it looks really great on a desktop. And I made that transition because I'm on YouTube and Instagram right now. So I'm on YouTube live on my computer. So on the desktop, like my website looks great. All the formatting is there. But when it switches over to mobile, right now I do have some opportunities for it to be better. And that's just something that a learning curve that I'm going through right now. But the question is, it's not the answer to the question, it's not a template. It is something I had to create from scratch. And so that's why might see some, well, you do see some differences right now. I'm working on getting those kinks cleared out. Oh, that's like a work question. How do you measure success online? Um, I mean, for me right now, being as small as my platforms are, it would just be like people genuinely engaging with the things that I post. Like if people like it or people share it, or if when people inbox me or DM me, I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm moving in the right direction. Um, I don't have like any viral posts or anything like that at the moment. So I wouldn't say from like a numbers perspective is where I am. It's more just so like are people engaging with the things that I post? Or like when I see my friends, when they how do I s when I see my friends and I posted something like a week ago or something like that, and then they'll bring that up within maybe 5 minutes of seeing me, like, "Oh, I saw that thing that you posted, like, that was really cool, blah, blah, blah," and I don't ask them for any feedback, and they just genuinely say that, that's when I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like, I'm on to something, like, I'm making progress. How do you handle negative feedback online? I don't get a ton of negative feedback online, thankfully. Again, thank you very much for that. The most negative or like the weirdest comment that I've received is actually when I posted that reel about like the first book I was reading this year, which happens to be Michelle Obama's The Light We Carry, which I absolutely love. It's actually right back here. I take that thing everywhere. Um, Somebody said something that was, like, disgusting that I won't even repeat, so I blocked them, deleted the comment, and, like, it did sit with me for a little while, and it was kinda weird. It was, like, a really nasty it was kinda like, it was kinda like taking a vitamin and, like, that nasty aftertaste in your mouth. It just didn't sit well with me for a little bit, but I had to keep reminding myself, like, to forget about it, which kinda sounds strange, but I just had to get that out of my system. That was a post, and then somebody when I did have my house tore up, somebody posted something weird like, um, "Congratulations on your new home," like, "Hope you get married soon," something weird, like, I don't know, it'll just be, like, accounts that you know are trolls, and I mean, it's a troll account. Besides that, I don't get anybody who says anything just like blatantly negative, thankfully. I also don't post anything that's really controversial. I don't know what negative thing you could say about plants or like organizing a home. So like if you that upset about looking at plants or like me posting like a clip of travel, like that has nothing to do with me. Somebody asked, "Oh, how do you stay motivated with a small channel?" I just keep on posting. It can be daunting when you feel like you just online talking to yourself. Because like right now it's nobody in these lives, but I'm gonna save them and it'll be on there. And I have to. It's actually a good way for me to practice right now because I don't feel like the pressure because there's nobody in here. Um, Now, if I guess I feel like if like the floodgates just opened and like overnight it was like, I don't know, 10,000 people in here and I did a live and I didn't have the experience to like work me up to that, um, it would be kind of weird. So I guess the answer to that, I should be using the star method. I just keep posting. That's the best way I can explain it. I'm just going to keep posting. I'm gonna keep posting. I know that I'm doing the right things. I'm gonna just keep posting, and we're gonna see what happens. What are your future goals for your channel? Is the question. My future goals for my channel is to really just engage with more people like myself. Um, One other things I want to get into a little bit later in this like online journey is just talking about not only home stuff, but like home related things. And something home related for me that's like a really personal thing is like being the only African American person in my community. Um, like my spouse is an African American, like being the only African American person in my community um, is a very interesting thing. And so when they seem like when I first, without going into too much detail, like when we first moved here, like you could tell people was like, looking, and now they'll go by like, "Oh, Victoria Garden looks good," blah 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 blah, and stuff like that. But it's still, and we don't have kids yet. But it's still just kinda it can be awkward. I hope I answered that. How do you balance work and personal life? Um, well, hmm, I don't think I did a good job at that. Not really. When I was working, I don't think I really did a great job at that. I feel like I would be, especially the kind of job I had in tech, I think I would just really be like all in on that or on vacation and like all in with my friends or all in with my family. I don't think I've ever particularly done a really great job in the past at balancing my work and personal life, but I am actively taking strides to do better. Um, yeah, that's the only way I could really answer that. And that falls into like one of my self-care categories. Like last weekend, and I'm a homebody. So like I like being at home. I like being at home and I like being in the bed. I like being at home. I like being in the bed by 8 p.m. So that can play a role into that too. But that's a good question. Um, um, this question asks, "What is my background and how did it lead me into social media?" So previously, I used to work in tech. I'm not going to go into like a ton of detail about what I used to do or what company I used to work for. But I hated it. I was in that segment for over 10 years, and I got to a certain point in my career where I just wasn't liking it anymore. I wasn't necessarily in the hmm, I guess I should have read these beforehand, like really read them beforehand. I wasn't in the sector that I wanted to be in with inside that company anymore. And where I currently live, there is not a lot of options for what I like to do. What I like to do is be able to use like my creative brain. So like even building a website is techy, but it's also very creative. There's a lot of creative parts about building a website. And so I wasn't able to use that creative part of my brain at work anymore, where I used to be able to do that when I was in other roles. But those other roles are in other states, and I'm no longer mobile like I used to be when I was young. Um, where I used to move around at the drop of a dime. I can't do that anymore. I shouldn't say I can't. I no longer am willing to do that anymore for organization. So it didn't necessarily lead me to social media. I just got really tired of it and I enjoy social media. Like it's a thing that I can do like day in and day out and like take photographs and do the documenting of it all and not feel like worn out. Hey, cuz I actually answered your question a little while ago. Um, pa- 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 pa. I'm just trying to check these off. This is another question about where I live. I did answer that earlier. So I live in Metro Detroit. This question asks, what are some trends in DIY that I am most excited about? That's a great question. So some things I'm really excited about in DIY specifically. One thing that we're working on right now is a live wall. So I'm trying to think how to explain it. So, like, you might have seen these, or you guys might have seen these in like office buildings of like they have these live plant walls. And the idea is like to bring the outdoors inside. So we're gonna be doing that in my fiance's office. So he's actually already started working on that. So that's like the next thing that you'll see from us from a DIY perspective. Trying to think what else. Um I really, really love wainscoting. I've always liked that look. I think that it's all over the internet right now. Like it's everywhere. I just we plan on doing it more places in our home. I hope that people don't completely get tired of it. Like I just hope the people who are putting it up can live with it forever and everybody just doesn't get sick of it. Because again, like I was talking about earlier, when it comes to like the type of TV shows and the time periods that I like, I love that kind of stuff. So I don't get sick of it, but I just hope it stays like that for everybody else. Okay. This next question is, why did you start a blog? So there's a couple reasons why I started a blog. One, how would I? Okay, one, I'm not sure if you guys don't follow her, you should. Her name is, it's a friend of mine from college. Her name is Trish A. White. One reason why I started a blog, I had the website and the domain already prepared. And I was just like, okay, everybody knows, I shouldn't say everybody, a lot of people know that it's important to have a online presence. Like if you're gonna have an online presence, it's important to have an online presence in the place that you own. So like I don't own Instagram, like I don't own TikTok or I don't own YouTube or anything like that. So if something were to happen, or like if my account, heaven forbid, I don't, oh, I need some wood. If something were to happen, heaven forbid, into my account and it disappeared one day and I don't own any of that stuff, then there's like very little that you can do. They do have resources now, thankfully, but it's important to own that stuff. Because that's one reason why I started the blog. And it actually happened to, while I was in the process of creating my website, it actually happened to my friend Trish.A.White, who's like, she's a mommy blogger. Um, if you don't follow her, you guys should. And her account, I thought she was just taking a break. Her account got hacked at the top of the year, top of 2023. And she was just completely offline. I didn't realize that she hadn't posted in a while. I thought she was just taking a break for the holidays. And then all of a sudden she came back and she was like, my account just got hacked. I couldn't get in. I was locked out of everything. And I was just like, wow, like I'm sitting on this thing and I need to just put it out there and produce it. The other part of it, aside from not owning these social platforms, is that it's a all-inclusive place of everything. So like right now I'm live on YouTube and I'm live on Instagram. Well, if you're not following me on either of these two platforms, you could be missing out on something. So to have it all in one place, like one clean thing, and I want to start doing like PDFs and like tips that you can download on like how to clean your home and things of that nature, or gardening tips, someplace you actually can download that tangible information. It'll sit on the website. So I hope I answered that question. Oh, this one's really personal. What does your husband do for work? Again, I'm engaged, I'm not married, but I just clicked on, I will not be answering this question. If y'all remember, I said you guys can ask any question that you want. When people put these up and they ask questions, I do, the nosy side of me does come out. So I'm not shaming nobody for asking, but I will not be answering this question. It's also the reason why you don't see him on anything that, so yeah. I think that's a typo about where do I live. Again, that's Metro Detroit. And then second to last question, because I'm answering my cousin's question. What's next? I mean, I think I'm doing a whole lot right now. I don't know what possibly else could be happening. Right now, my very, very big focus is completing the website, like getting the blog up and running, having it not only look really great for you guys, but function well. Because one of my pet peeves is if I go on a website and it just does not function well, like you can't click on links and it doesn't take you to where it's supposed to take you, things of that nature. Um, and posting more consistently, especially on Instagram. YouTube, I've kind of figured out. You might see me like come and go a little bit, but for the most part on YouTube, I'm pretty good at like a posting schedule. And Instagram is just something I've neglected. I'm not gonna hold y'all. I was really focusing on YouTube, and that's more long-term content, long form content, whereas Instagram is going through a thing right now. So that is really what's, I guess, what you would call next for me. And let's see. I can't tell. How do you tell if it? Oh, okay. And so then the last question I'll answer again, since you're in here, is like, how do I keep my garden looking the way that it does? And back then, when I was working, it was like all the help from my spouse. Like really just being able to do it as a team. Like it's something that we both really enjoy. Like we both really love like the entire experience of like shopping for everything, and of course like him allowing me to like run with the theme or like what color we're going to do for the season or for that year. But he does all the heavy lifting, so he does the like really heavy and dirty stuff, and I get to do the fun things. So that made it a lot easier. There was so not some not fun things like some people might think is like the deadheading. But for me, like roses, like or just or like learning how to deadhead a specific plant in order to get it to produce more buds is just really interesting to me. So, like last year when I learned how to properly deadhead a rose bush, so that way you knew like where to cut off the old bud in order for it to produce more, and like seeing our rose bushes just completely transform, that was really exciting to me. So then it makes me want to do it more. But we got through. Let me make sure. Perfect, perfect. I like this Instagram feature of how they do the questions. So we got through all the questions. Thank you to my cousin that's in the room for joining us today. We're on here for about 33 minutes. I'm going to actually probably like 40. I'm going to save these. So I'm gonna save each one individually because last time when I was on YouTube and I went live, it did not save. So I'm gonna do that so that way you guys, whoever didn't get to see this first time around, can replay this at your convenience. So thank you again for joining us, and I'll see y'all later. We're gonna end this.